lawyers are the ones who follow the law. They are the ones who do not break the law, and we are all lawyers. We are the ones who have a lot of respect for law because our life is around law. People have a different opinion about lawyers, but my opinion is that lawyers are the most law-abiding citizen, and that's what they do. My friend Sumanilata Ambrishji, Malvika Vinashji, Shri S. Dattatri ji, Vasant Kumar ji, Ranganath ji, Datta Guru Hegde ji, Srimati K.N. Veena Arun ji, Lakshmi Iyengar ji, and all my present friends and sisters and some lawyer brothers. Thank you very much for waiting on. Problem was not ours. I come from Delhi and I know the traffic of Delhi is bad, but I realize only to compare it with Bangalore, which is worse. So one is the traffic, the other is air traffic, and all kinds of things that we've gone through. We've been up and down since 4 a.m. in the morning. But irrespective, I was just thinking, what is the goal of democracy? We all understand democracy. We all know we are the oldest democracy in the world. People say we are the largest democracy, but they don't understand that democracy existed in this country much before the word democracy was coined. So we are the oldest democracy. Cholas, of course, we are talking about Cholas because of the copper plate they have found, but before Cholas, few centuries BC. Vedas. In Vedic literature also there is a mention of democracy, and in Vedic literature, democracy had the same Sabha, Samiti, and the king was not really the king in the patriarchal sense. King was an elected office, more like a prime minister. So Vedic period and post that the Buddhist period also has, because Buddhist period talks about Ganatantra. And there is a story which goes that one king in the south, when some merchants were traveling to south to sell their wares, so the king asked them, how do the things happen up north? Who is the king and how do those kingdoms run? So the answer was that there are no kings. There is a set of some very intelligent people who run the Ganatantra. So set of people, and they get elected, and they are very wise, very brave, and very intelligent people. So there are a set of people who handle business, there are sets of people who handle safety and security, and there are sets of people who handle general administration. And that set is what we call Council of Ministers today. So Ganatantra in this country is as old as the civilization itself, and the traces can be found right in the Vedic literature, Buddhist literature, Chola literature. Many of our things got lost, many of our things got destroyed. So a whole lot of difficulty happened in terms of history and recapitulating our history. Well, why am I talking this on a day like this, on a pre-election day? So I'm talking about this because as lawyers, we need to stay focused on the goal, and the goal is 2047. The goal is to make India a developed nation. Can we make India a developed nation without the participation of women? Answer is no. Can we make India a developed nation without lawyers? No. So we are both lawyers and women. So our responsibility doubles or quadruples, because we are the flag bearers of what democracy is. We are the flag bearers of what value system ought to be. We are the flag bearers of what progress or development is all about. Where is development in a democratic setup? You need to listen to the voice of people. You need to guide it in terms of law. You need to defend what is right. And you need to work against criminality, corruption, and communal violence. And I think these three C's is what Congress represents. And because Congress represents these three C's, we need to stay focused to battle it out. Many a times people will ask you questions of all kinds. 1,000 rupees here, 1,000 rupees there, this road, this sewage, that sewage. I will say, let's ask one question. What is this election for? Is this election for a councillor? Is this an election for an MLA? Or this is an election as to how country has to run? The macro picture, how India has to portray itself to the world, how India needs to gain from its demographic dividends, how India needs to have education policy, how India's industrial policy needs to be in place, how our economic progress needs to be made, how our scientific and technological development needs to happen, how the Law and Order, IPC Evidence Act, and all the UAPA, all other acts need to work. What is the function of ED? What is the function of courts? What is the function of police? What is the function of, all kind of justice-making processes? All the institutions involved in social justice, economic justice, political justice, all kind of justices that we talk about. Because as lawyers, we have a different concept of the word justice itself. So when people talk about Nyay and Nari, I laugh because I feel they neither understand the two. They just don't understand. Only then they can talk about this. Because if they really truly understood what women were all about, or what the needs of women were, they would have also understood what justice is all about. Justice is not just standing in the court and fighting your cases. Justice is living a life of dignity as well. And that life of dignity is both within the court system and outside the court system. We are Nyay Priya because we fight for the rights of the people. We fight that there is injustice, and that injustice needs to be curbed at every level. I was thinking about this concept of justice, injustice, and when I came in, Malvika was speaking about bank accounts and DBT and how Aadhaar became such an important thing, and I call it JAM, Jan Dhan account, Aadhaar and mobile phone. The JAM Trinity helped us achieve the real form of justice for the people who need it the most. Because people today are talking about, we'll give you this much money, we'll do this, we'll do that. I have a very small question to ask. People of this country gave you opportunity for 70 long years. What did you do? What did you do? Nothing. In my language, we say zero beta sannata, which means zero and upon silence. And silence divided by zero is still bigger silence. So that's the kind of governance and administration we got. And because we got that administration and that governance, the country suffered. And the suffering can be counted innumerable instances, just to bring back to the point that today you are talking about women, but women could not even enjoy the dignity of a decent toilet. Do you need space science to teach you that? Every human being who's born knows you eat and you need to use a toilet. So those who could neither give food, nor could provide toilet, nor could provide healthcare, Ayushman Bharat, 8 crore bank accounts existed in this country till 2014. And imagine 120 crore people, we were there even at that time. Out of 120 crore people, you only had 8 crore savings bank account, and total bank accounts were 11 crore something. Business accounts included. Imagine, you did not give access to public money to the very people for whom you are supposed to run the government. Run government of the people, by the people, for the people. So what was missing? Government was neither of the people, nor was it for the people, and nor was he by the people, because people, many a times, not even 40%, in some places in Kashmir, 8% people used to vote. 8 to 10% people will vote and make the government. And we call it democracy. So those are the challenges which this country has gone through. With great difficulty and enormous work which has gone in with your support. With all the work that all the ladies sitting here have put in. All the people who have voted Mr. Modi as the Prime Minister have put in. Undertaken the travel, the botheration to go to the polling station, to make the poll possible, wait in the queues, stand in the sun, stand by their conviction, are the ones who wanted to make a change and make a difference to the country. And it is these people I call upon, that your vote has not been wasted. The changes are there for all of us to see. The biggest change, according to me, we see is at the grassroots level, where we did not count, where women did not count. But today, every party is trying to woo the women. Nari Shakti, Nari Nyay, all kind of Nari sloganeering is happening. So let's feel very happy that we are important. None can ignore us. And because we are important, we are going to make it all the more difficult for the wrong kind of people to stay in power. We are going to make sure that right people get to power and retain that power. And that is why Mr. Modi needs to be brought back. Because the changes that this country has seen, we all understand, Bina bhojan na hoye bhajan. Everybody follows that, right? So even when you're pleasing the God, you need to offer some prasad. So you need to have stomach full before you can talk about morality and ethics and values. So stomach full requires a running economy. Imagine till 2014, the total budget of the central government was 4 lakh some odd crores. Now 4 lakh some odd crores, the whole country was to run. So what used to happen to balance money? Tax. Nobody knows. For buying one piece of paper, for buying one pen, for buying one beanie, for buying small thing, 40-45 taxes is what we would pay. But we did not know where that money is going. So the tax system had to be streamlined and we brought in GST. The result is that budget, which used to be less than 5 lakh crore, today we are running close to 20 lakh crore. And once the pockets are deep, you have more money to distribute. Now imagine the state government, especially in Karnataka, there is a very sinister campaign going on. Under the carpet, but a sinister campaign is going on. Trying to say, we generate money and we do not get enough back. And that is a lie of the first order. I tell you how. The system of devolution of taxes, we are all lawyers, well-read people. We all know that the country has to run by a system. And there is always a sense in that system. I will come to the sense later, but I'll tell you what the system is. The system is under the Constitution of India, which BJP did not make, which RSS had nothing to do with. There's something called Article 280. Please go back and read. Article 280 of the Constitution denotes how devolution of taxes needs to happen, how taxes need to be divided between the state and the center. Because we all know as lawyers that India is a quasi-federal jurisprudence or legal system. So in that quasi-federal structure, center has a primacy on certain subject, state get primacy on certain other subjects, and that central power needs to maintain the cohesion between the whole country. Now, if a company, I'm coming to the mathematics, if a company, any company, you can think of a drugs company, a computer company, a software company, any firm which is registered in Bangalore or is registered in Bangalore is definitely not making all the money by selling its product or services in Bangalore or Bangalore. It is selling all over the country, and all the production which is happening in Bangalore, wherever, the coal which is coming from eastern part of the country is subsidized for manufacturing. The automobile industry is subsidized by virtue of subsidized power. The freight itself is subsidized. And under a strategy, this was done way back when country became independent. Otherwise, the whole industry should have been in Jharkhand, in Chhattisgarh, in Orissa, because those are the areas where mining happens. Those are the areas where coal comes from. Those are the areas where iron and other metals come from. Then South would not have developed at all. But to balance it out, this was a strategy that industrial things will happen here, the mining will happen there, and there will be subsidization on freight, on power, on everything. That's the mathematics. Because countries run. And everybody needs to progress simultaneously. Now, whatever services and goods are sold outside the state. So the profit making is happening because goods and services are provided to other states. So while registered office is here, the taxation is happening here, but the money is coming from elsewhere. And those people who are buying the services or the products have equal share in development process. That is the sense. And going back to the principle of quasi-federal structure. So they are fooling around. Article 280 existed when UPA was in power in the center, when Congress was in power in the center. Article 280 exists when BJP-led NDA is in power in the center, and in the state there is a different government. Why question now? Why question now? And you know how much money they are getting today? It's worth learning. Because the total budget of the country was 4 lakh crore in 2014. By good governance, we have brought it up to 20 lakh crore, close to 20. It's not to 20, it's less, but about that. Just to give you a round figure. You know the state of Karnataka earning from tax devolution and budgetary allocation from the center, maximum during Congress regime, when Congress was in the center, was 836 crore. In 2014, it was 836 crore. That's the maximum money Karnataka got from the center. You know how much you are getting today? Today, Karnataka's budgetary allocation, just the budgetary allocation, is 6,086 crore. And they talk about centers not treating you right. Maximum money which Karnataka has got when Modi ji led NDA has been in power in the center. All the central schemes and allocation for that has been maximum to Karnataka in all these 10 years. Because we wanted to be a saturation state. ISRO is here, HAL is here, Tejas is being produced, new satellites are being launched, so many things center is providing, and all those grants are separate. CSIR, all those things are separate. But for Ayushman Bharat, for national highways, for Vande Bharat, for new railway stations, for metro train, for intercity railway network, all that money center is giving. Maximum grants Karnataka has got when BJP has been in power. And as per the system of devolution, one is the budgetary allocation, the second is the grant system in which centre gives the grants. Centre also brought out a scheme during COVID-19. That scheme was basically that you take loan from the centre, returnable after 50 years, within 50 years, no interest paid, but use it as infrastructure development grant. Every state in the country has benefited out of it. For inland water network, for port development, for transport, for sewage, for water connection, everything that money can be used. Parks, people's facilities, Amrut, under Amrut you got so many grants and schemes from the center. So this is away from the money you received under the budgetary allocation. Interestingly, for budgetary allocation you have to remember Article 280 of the Constitution. You also need to know that devolution happens between the state and the center, which is decided by the Finance Commission. So there was 12 Finance Commission at a time when UPA or Congress was in the power. And when that was there, at that point in time, the devolution was 30%. In 13th Finance Commission, it was marginally increased to 32%. When NDA came to power and Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister, the 14th Finance Commission, immediately the devolution was changed to 42%. And in the 15th Finance Commission, a marginal reduction happened. It became 41% because a new state came to exist, the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So we had to make additional allocation for that state. So the marginal decrease for everyone happened to 41%. That has been the story. So you agree with me that state government and Congress party is telling lies? Yeah? They are making misstatements. Would you correct it? Would you tell the people?
Yes.
Because you are all educated people. You understand how law operates, how constitution works, how the center-state relationship works. And in that center-state relationship, first time country seeing a very responsible central government, which is doing its best because it understands Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or Sabka Prayas. So Prayas is missing. You know, today I was asked this question by somebody in the media who said, ma'am, what's happening with NEP? I said, what do you want? I mean, what should happen? After 40 years, country got a new education policy. After 40 years. You know, your cell phone changes every 2 months. Seriously. The technology, because I'm standing in the city of technology, the technology of the phone and the IoT and the refrigerator to cooking range to gas cylinder, everything changes in 2.5 months. It used to take 2 years. Today it changes like this. You don't want education to be competent because it changes in 2.5 months. At least policy should be updated so that our children are updated with knowledge. And coming back to even concepts of democracy, if we are not going to take credit for the democratic traditions of this country, you think others are going to give us? Should this be part of education policy or not? Should India's traditions be taught to Indians or not? It should be. So we need new education policy which is both technologically sound, historically correct, and gives that pride to Indians that look, we were the richest civilization. We controlled 32% of the global GDP. People kept attacking us because we were minting money. We were very rich people, but we were stupid not to focus on security. Time to focus on security. Time to secure our borders. Time to work there. And time to collect our funds and money to secure the borders, especially up north, because that's where the attacks came from, or down south, where the subsequent, especially people from Karnataka would remember the entire Bangalore belt, where Rani Abakka suffered defeat at the hands of Portuguese, and that led to Western invasion into this part of the country. So, should the right history be not taught? Should the correct things which make us proud be not brought up? If all that needs to be done, NEP has to be worked at. NEP needs to be implemented. Now, if state government is choosing not to implement NEP, what will happen? State will suffer. Because all the children of marginalized communities are the ones who will be going to those schools. Less affluent people. Because the more affluent will go to CBSE and other places or central schools, and they will be upgraded and updated and ready to take on the world. But the ones which are going to the state-run schools will not be competent to compete with those kids. And there will be education gap between them. So state, and I use the word, I said let the wisdom prevail. Let people know politics cast aside. We need to work on certain things together with the center, and we should do what is right for the state, for the people of the country. Whether you vote for party A or you vote for party B, we are all Indians. We all take pride in each other. I'm very proud of your achievements. I may come from north, but I'm very proud of Kannadigas. I'm very proud of my brothers and sisters. I never feel different. When I'm amongst you, I feel one like you. And I hope I give the same sense to you that I belong to you. You belong to me, I belong to you. There's never a difference. And that is how the whole country needs to come together. And that strength of working together, of being together, taking the country forward, making India a developed nation. Let us not get destroyed by the divisive forces, but destroy what divides us and come as a unifying force has to be our motto. And for achieving all this, we need एक बार फिर मोदी सरकार और इस बार 400 पार. So अब की बार और इस बार आवाज तेज आवाज, like lawyers are very good at making their arguments, and when they get angry they can be a little loud also. अब की बार अरे इकट्ठा बोलेंगे ना, अब की बार हाथ खड़ा करके, अब की बार, अब की बार, अब की बार, अब फिर एक बार, 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 and you will carry the message to people who can get duped. Yeah? You will explain to them. And the other thing, one more thing I will tell, because that's where the narrative building is happening, and I want all my sisters, especially lawyers from the same fraternity, are the ones who can carry this message. See, these people did not give 10 kg of rice which they had promised. Right? Now compare this guarantee with the guarantee of giving you, me and everyone 1 lakh rupees. You think that's happening? It's not possible. Absolutely right, ma'am. I will give a simple calculation. As per some reports yesterday, We are 144 crore people. Round figure 140. 50% women make it 70 crore. 1 lakh per person makes it 70 lakh crore. Where are you going to get the money from? Tell us that. Please tell us that.
Rahul Gandhi does not know mathematics.
Huh?
Rahul Gandhi does not know arithmetic also.
No. Rahul Gandhi knows or not. My point is, the common woman who's working in the field, a common woman who's working with the self-help group, with the cooperatives, a common woman who may be a domestic help at your house and my house, a common woman who's probably a seamstress, a common woman who's ironing clothes, making an honest living, selling vegetables, selling flowers, those kinds of things. Does she even understand that?
No.
We need to explain it.
Yes.
The total budget of the country was 4 lakh crore when they were in power.
Yes.
We've made it with great difficulty 20 lakh crore. With great difficulty. Defense needs to be paid, salaries need to go, judges' salary needs to go, police equipment need to be bought, army equipment need to be bought, aeroplanes need to be made, power surplus state like Karnataka today's power deficit. State, we need to work on power generation, we need to work on renewable energy, we need to work on health. So many things need to be done. Where are you going to get 70 lakh crore in a year? Please explain that. Those people who could not give 10 kg of rice are talking about putting 1 lakh rupee in every woman's bank account.
2000 they can't put.
Huh?
2000 they are not putting.
My point is the same, ma'am. My point is, in Delhi, at least my experiences, see, there are class and category of people. There could be widows who need some support. There could be disabled people who need some support. There could be people who are on the marginalized section, they need some support. All of them are not getting their pensions. And you are making a round statement, all women, Nari Nyay, 1 lakh rupiya sabke khate mein. Done. I mean, so I want all my sisters to go out and explain this to people. That they are duping you. Don't get waylaid by this because it's Modi Sarkar which has consistently been working on making India an empowered nation. Constantly the self-help group women who did not have access to bank accounts, who had no access to toilets, today have become Lakpati Didis. 1 crore women out of these 10 crore women have become Lakpati Didis. And the government of India has revised this target, which I thought we will make 2 crore women as Lakpati Didis. They have revised it to say we will make 3 crore women as Lakpati Didis. On Mudra loan, 69%, 70% are women beneficiaries. On Startup India loans, 70% and above are women beneficiaries. 18% and above, 89%. Similarly, on Stand Up India loans, very large population of percentage of women beneficiaries, because women were the ones who had no access, who had no bank accounts. Today they have access, they are able to work, they are able to get the benefits, they are able to run like cooperative methodology. Now all these benefits which we have garnered in 10 years, imagine what will happen if a government like other side comes to power. If somebody else was to become a prime minister, and the same thought, what we have gained in 10 years, was going to be lost, what will happen? Again, we will go back to 0 bata sannata. 0 upon silence. And anything gets divided by 0 is infinity. So we will get infinite problem in this country. And this is an election, not of a state, not of a councillor. This is an election to choose who gets to sit in the parliament, who gets to run the country, and whose policies are equitable to bind the whole country in the same thread, who does not divide the country. And it is for that reason we need to bring this government back. We need to make Prime Minister Modi the Prime Minister again. So, ab ki baar, खुशी से आप थके हुए हो पर एक बार अब की बार, अब की बार, अब की बार, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार। अच्छा फोटो आएगा अगर हम सब इकट्ठे हाथ खड़ा करेंगे। Everyone together. अब की बार, अब की बार, अब की बार, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार। जय हिंद, जय भारत।